Hello again. This is episode 9, I think. We're whittling through these. I'm just recording it all the time, apart from the last half an hour since the last one I recorded. And I got into a real problem with working out how the heck I use the mixing library Bourbon and the grid structure neat that go together into my Jekyll project, and I'm using at the minute to manage them Bower and Gulp, and these aren't the natural things for them. Previously, at the end of the last video, I got to a point where I was really stuck, and what was happening was in this SAS directory, it was just spitting out all the files. Excuse me. And I thought that this was perfectly fine. I thought, just spit them all out, be fine. We'll do a little bit of string replace rubbish in the gulp file, and it will just change the imports and it will all work fine and dandy. Now, I've had quite a few problems and errors with it, and I'm starting to rethink on how these should be imported in. The great thing about this project is I can experiment and work out what the most efficient way is to do this, and just to explore any routes on whether I can do it better, or if I can learn new things. And I'm starting to think that this is an opportunity to think about this differently. But when I say differently, as in like what it's supposed to be doing, or what Bourbon is meant to be used with. Now, if we look in here, this is the SAS task, and this was what I managed to work out. Instead of what happens is the Bower main files gulp task, or gulp task dependency, or package, or whatever you want to call it. This allows it to pick out the main file from its bower.json file in that project, and then you can redefine it in your bower.json file, which is good. You can then pick that file out and drop it into your project. But if it's got multiple files, it becomes a little bit more tricky. You can state them in the overrides, and the creator may have stated them in theirs, but it's still going to spit them out as one file in one location, and that's what that globbing thing is. I don't really know how to explain that in terminology, but basically it's to do with the directory structure and putting files in the right locations in relationship to the main file. And it was becoming difficult, and this is why this is in here, because Gulp can then decipher the directory structure, and when I do Gulp SCSS, you'll see that it spits out all the files in the right structure for it, so it will understand it, which is good. It does do the job correctly, and it works. It doesn't look great in the gulp file, but it does the job. It does what I thought it'd be right. However, we've got imports here, and I'm importing them, and when I come to test this out with Jekyll, so Jekyll serve and watch, I'm getting an error. I'm getting this error, and it's saying converters SCSS encountered an error while converting CSS styles.scss, invalid CSS after blah de blah, which is annoying. So basically, something in there is just invalid, and it's not. It's expecting a value for that if statement, when it's actually a ampersand and open semicolon. It's actually like bringing out the file. And if I go to here, we can see the offending item. So it believes that this mixin should be, it says if this, then before colons this. So it must be some elaborate mixin kind of concept. It probably works, but it's not working in this case, and this is Jekyll. And this is a gem, this is Ruby stuff. This should kind of work together. And then that led me on to like checking the website and going, maybe we should be using this in the right way. And I put that in quotation marks, the right way. In this case, the way they wanted you to put it in there. And there's an installation method for a Rails project, and then there's an installation for a non-Rails app, which I assume is me. So they've even got CodeKit going on. So I guess CodeKit can work it out. Right. I want to try this out. I want to see what the gem will do, because I have just updated a few things. I updated Jekyll by doing gem update Jekyll, and then I also did gem install GitHub pages to make sure I had all the gems, because GitHub pages is a bundled gem. So within that gem is a series of gems that GitHub pages actually has running. If I can find the page, this is it. So pages.github.com/versions, and these are all the gems that are running on GitHub right now and the versions that go with them. So Ruby, Jekyll sitemap, Jekyll mentions, J emoji, pigments, liquid, all that kind of stuff. And I was checking the Sass converter, and it's on 1.2.0. Because I was checking about that file error in, let me get it open again, in here, and it's apparently fixed in a newer version of the Sass conversion. However, I thought we could solve this by running through this process. It wants, I'm hoping that I can, like, it says Sass watch, run a Sass watch from the command line, and you can, like, lastly import the mixins to make your style sheets. Borman help, Borman update. This is going to be interesting. Very interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove bitters, and I'm also going to rewind this thing back to this state where it's just importing Sass, just normal, vanilla style. And we're going to get this into a fit state to commit and push. So git status. Okay, so we still have our CSS directory that's not being done. It's got SCSS in there. Okay, so git diff goat file. Yes, we git. We changed the directory pointing. Changes destination of SCSS files. Cool. Git diff package gulp replace. I am going to uninstall gulp replace. So what I'm going to do is npm uninstall gulp replace save git status. Let's reverted it back. I'm going to get rid of that. Git commit removes gulp replace. Git status again. And we've got these deleted files. I'm going to leave these, but I'm going to do git add CSS. If I tab, that's the only thing. So git commit creates main styles file for project styles. Whoops. Git status again, and these are in here. Okay, so let's do git add dot git commit removes bourbon and neat main files. Cool. We're going off on a bit of a roller coaster here. I want to record this because I was going to test it and see what happens before I started recording. However, that's not as interesting. It's more interesting to see somebody try and see the steps that I go through, and hopefully it will be more interesting. So here we go. I'm gonna get our gem on. So gem install bourbon. Okay. So then it says install bourbon into your project style sheets directory by generating the bourbon folder. I'm guessing that we need to interesting, because we're gonna need Ruby for this project, so we'll have to kind of tell people to install Ruby and then install bourbon as well. This is maybe something to come back to and then polish up on how people install the project, and that's not necessarily important now. We need to get this in here and see if we can get it running. So let's do ls, and then we can list out all the directories and files. And we want to cd into sas, and then we want to do bourbon install. Wow. Well, there it is. So, yeah. we've imported it. So let's do that, and I guess we can do that with neat as well. Install Ruby. We don't want to. There we got gem install SAS to make sure it's on the latest version, so it's running the correct one. I'm worried about that because Jekyll needs to process the SAS. Well, I would like it to. Okay, let's see. Gem install neat. Okay. Now, neat install, because we're already in the SAS directory, we can just do that. Done. Great. All these package managers, just pretty similar. Now we've got our files going. We've got Bourbon, so we need Bourbon/Bourbon and neat/neat, and then bitters/base. Let's see what happens when we do this, because I don't know whether it's installed it differently. Moment of silence on what the heck's just happened. Is it working? Oh, flip. Oh, flip. I'm running it from the wrong directory. I'm running it from here. Let's create a site folder. We don't want that. We want a CD upper level, so CD. Ah, there we go. There's the error. And nothing's loaded, yeah, because it failed. So we've still got the same error. And these guys would like us to use the SAS dependencies. Ruby. Well, in for a penny. Let's gem install SAS. We could have a completely different system going on here with using gems instead of gulp and even npm. We'll have to like figure out a way to flip the JavaScript over to that and then run that instead. Goodness me. If we wind it back, we go back to here, they've got installation method for Bourbon, and then run a standard SAS watch from the command line. Okay, well let's do it from the root. I have no idea what this is going to do. What files should I watch? Did you mean something like this? Oh, that's interesting. Sass watch input.sass output.css, or sass watch input directory output directory. So let's say that's the input directory, and then let's say that the CSS is the output directory. Sass is watching for changes. Is it going to see any changes in here? Change detected. May need to do this. This is interesting. It's reading the changes. Sass is watching for changes. Change detected to that one. I've put this in here in a poor attempt to like spark it into action, but it's not turning it into a CSS file in here. Let me check on here on the Jekyll RB website to see if we've got our dependencies right. If you're using Sass import statements, you need to ensure that the Sass directory is set to the base directory that contains your Sass files. You can do that thusly. Sass converter will default the sass.dir configuration to Sass. Just having a little nosy around here, see if I can find any. See, that's being converted to something else. Body. Let's do a quick test. Background white. Let's do some quick Googling using Bourbon with Jekyll. Just a crazy repo there. Stack Overflow. Yes, GitHub Pages uses a certain set of gems that are limited, so I want to limit myself to them. However, I want to because I want to adhere to their style. Anyway, we apparently need to state our gems in here. Let's view their site again on GitHub Pages, see if they've got gems. Gems thing. Well, let's just put our gems in here. See how that floats. Because it will read the configuration file, hopefully recognize those gems, and start doing stuff without making any complaints, which is what it's doing. Very interesting. Oh, wow. It works. It works. It's doing it. It's doing it. We need to do like a test of some kind. We need to pick out something from Bourbon, like anything, like back facing visibility. Let's try something from there. It's so hard to copy, isn't it? There. Let's try this background gradient thing. Done. Yes! It's done it. It's doing it. All these other styles above here are the font reset stuff. So this is actually doing it. And if we go to, that's our live one, we should be able to go to here and be able to do this. And go to our layout file. Open, oh dear. Open this up in Coda. Include a, let's get that there. Where are my snippets? Yes, I am extremely lazy. I am extremely lazy, but I want to do it right. Done. Done with the crazy gradient. It works. It works. There's something happening. We've installed 2 gems besides Jekyll into our project, and it's producing a site. The drawback is the gems aren't available on GitHub pages, so we need to figure out a way to get around that. Whether that be doing it the hard way and having an SCSS file in here and then producing a CSS file here that would spit it out. I wouldn't like to do that because then I can use, like, I'm using Jekyll like correctly. But we'll see. That's pretty cool. We've got our SAS stuff here. I wonder what happens if we take this out and then save this and then cancel this and then run it again. Oh, okay. So that still works. Whoops. Doing some testing now to see what happens when you don't put them in. Well, what happened there? Why did that work then? Why didn't this work up here? Is it because we installed Bourbon and Bourbon and neat in a normal way, in an expected way. Is it even doing it? Like, is it reading it? Let's change that to blue. In fact, let's change that to blue and that to red so we actually see a change at the top. Well, I'll be. I honestly can't see what's going on there. Why is it because we've installed it differently that it's started playing ball? So let's do git status. Let's check what we've changed. Oops. Apparently we've added a return to the end of the config file. We have. And now we haven't. Maybe it was something to do with the update or update to Jekyll or something like that. Let's do a complete kind of test on this, because at the minute we've just managed to do it differently, and it's worked even better than using Gulp and Bower. It's starting to make me rethink the whole concept of package managers and which ones to use. Alright, let's get rid of this background. It's looking a bit crazy 80s. Well, well, it goes to show when you need to install something correctly, you need to install something correctly. You don't want to be playing around with it differently. So now I'm starting to think, do we get rid of Bower? Do we get rid of Gulp? Entirely? Can I even do that? Or do I use Bower and Gulp to do my JavaScript and Ruby to do everything else, to do the SAS integration and that? Let's do a quick search. Gem HTML5 shiv. I don't know. So what we can do, gem install. Let's look up Ruby Gems. There's a website that is Ruby Gems. HTML5 shiv. So we got this. Which silence, the silence from the terminal. We're going up to 41 minutes. We're going to have to close this down. Installed. Okay. We need a gem file. That's what we need, a gem file. And the gem file would have everything in there as a dependency. Yes. That's what we need. CD. So we can CD to our JS directory, I guess. And then command not found. Bundle install. Let me look at the could not locate gem file. Just add this to your gem file. Okay, git status. Okay, git pull. This could be risky. Yeah, we got a merge. I think that's okay though. Right, and quit. All we've done is add a load of stuff to the MD file. It considers it's a merge, but it's actually two different files, so it's a happy merge. All it's done is add the episodes into here. What I'm going to quickly do before I close down this video is make the wildest GitHub issue ever. Switch from Bower and Gulp to Ruby. So create gem file, switch dependencies over question marks. Development. What we'll have to do is we'll possibly branch this off. So git status, and we're going to git commit so CD, we need a CD up. Yeah, git status, and then the directories are right. Git commit layouts default adds styles link. Make this issue and assign it to myself as a wild project, because I want to get back to the issues, and then we want to reference this commit, this issue. Git commit CSS, the styles thing, initiates styles #12 git status. Right, cool. Git push. Right. Well, this is actually done. We linked the Bourbon files. We created a stylesheet.scss. We linked it in the HTML. We can close this issue. Okay. Issues 2. Resolve the Bourbon dependencies in Bower and Gulp. This has been set aside to explore possibilities in hash 15. So we're going to close that, get our issues in order, and this bad boy is going to be on, going to be setting off. I will catch you in the next video. I'm sorry this has taken so long and this may be really confusing, but this is learning just as much as it is for me, probably more for me than it is for you. You're probably just watching somebody make mistakes. However, this could be really interesting. We could be switching this entire project over to what is essentially a spoof Ruby project, just using Jekyll, but hijacking gem files to bring in our dependencies and bring them in more logically by actually just dropping the folder straight into it, the purest form of it, as we saw in the Bourbon file and the neat file. And fingers crossed it's the same for the HTML5 shiv and things like that. It just puts in what the project needs and into the right location. So we'll find out. So I'll see you then.